Hello, how are you? My name's Emma and I'm an artist and I'm going to be helping you this week as you carry on with your term of curiosity. And the word curiosity is quite interesting because it can mean that we look at things because we're curious and we want to find out more. Or it can be curious like, oh, that's curious, that's strange, that's different. So that's what we're doing today. We're looking at strange and different things and we're using this amazing book, the world's most marvellous crossed out ridiculous animals. Now it might be a bit back to front in your screen, but it's a really good book to have a little look at. Um, what I thought we could do is we could have a look at some normal animals and then see if we can make them really curious, really strange and different. So I'm going to turn my camera down here so you can see what I'm doing and we'll walk through the activity. Okay, here we go. Right, so there are lots of curious animals in this book that we can have a look at, and I've printed out some examples for you, which your teachers will have, and you can have a look at them. And there's a little worksheet as well. So on this worksheet, we've got a few kind of like normal animals up here, and then I thought these are the ones that we could make really curious, really different. And to do that, I've got something called, well, two things, decision dice or decision die, because that's the plural, isn't it, of dice. So on here are lots of different things that our animals could be: speedy, hungry, show-offs, super strong, they could be camouflaged, or there's a cross here. You could cross one animal with another animal on your sheet or one of your liking. And then we've got a habitat dice as well. So where do they live? They could live in the sea or the jungle, or they could live in space. Very curious. They could live in the city or on a mountain or in the desert. So we're going to throw those to decide what our animal is going to be like. So I've got a showy offy animal that lives in the sea. So I could choose one of these animals. Maybe I could take a pig and turn it into a sea pig who's a show off. So you get my ideas? So what did I choose? I chose a snail to start off with. And on my decision dice, I had a show off who lived in the city. So this is my show off snail that lives in the city. And because he lives in the city, I put him on a roller skate because I think he needs to get around a bit quicker. He's very slow as a snail. And because he's a show off, he's got a big shiny light on him to keep him safe. And he's got some glittery sequins as well. You can just make it up and use your imagination. Make your animals as curious as possible. So once you've done your drawing, your sketch, we could turn it into a 3D model with some clay, couldn't we? So let's get the book out of the way so we don't get that covered in clay. Oh, you could colour in your animals as well, couldn't you? Make them a bit jazzy, make them unusual colours. Let's get rid of that. So we've got some clay and it's good to give it a knead. Let's get it workable. And you might be lucky, you might have some tools. These are clay making tools. And you see they've got different shapes at the end for pressing into the clay to make marks. You may not have any of those. So what could you use? You could use some cutlery. Things like spoons. You could use an old toothbrush for pressing into the clay to make texture. Or you might have the end of a pen. You can press that in and make shapes as well. So I kind of started mine already. Here's my snail, for my show-off snail that lives in the city. I've made a little light to go on the top of him. Now the best way to get things to stick together in clay is if you give it a bit of a scratch on one side and a bit of a scratch on the other side where you want it to stick. Then we can stick them together. They join a bit better. Well, there we are. There's my light on my show-off snail. I wanted to give him some eyes as well. I might use some of these little cocktail sticks. There we are. I'm going to cut one in half. I'm going to stick him in to make his eyes. And put two little blobs on top. There we go. with his eyes. And I've started making his rollerblade skate already, but I might decorate it with some bits in here to make the shape of the wheels. And I'm going to put them all together. So you can really use your imagination here and make your animals as curious as you like. He is quite curious, isn't he? A roller skating snail going through the city. You could also decorate if you've got any beads or sequins and you want to jazz them up. I was going to have a jazzy snail. So have as much fun as you like. See if you can make some really curious creatures. I look forward to seeing them. Bye.